So there's been a report circulating around San Diego that San Diego is now the most unaffordable city in the United States, just edging out to San Francisco for the top spot. And this is not really a top spot that I would prefer to be on top of, but with that said, San Diego is just edging out to San Francisco. So OJO Labs puts out the survey every year. They kind of have an index between 1 and 10. And 10 being the highest unaffordability level. Last year, San Francisco was 9.1 on that scale, but apparently San Francisco's home prices have dipped 4.2% last year, which I'm actually surprised by because every market I feel like in the United States has skyrocketed, and for some reason, San Francisco home prices have dipped by 4%.
Which is strange.
With that said, San Diego's unaffordability index score is 8.1 on the scale, so 8.1 to 7.9. In 2021, San Francisco was 9.2. So San Diego's actually hasn't gone up that high, but San Francisco seemed to have dropped quite a bit just because their home prices have dipped by 4%. And San Diego's home prices have gone up about 25% last year. And even in the beginning of this year, I've seen home prices go up 10 to 15% already in the first quarter of 2022. So this could even get even bigger as the time goes on. But I've also heard San Francisco home prices continue to go up early in the new year. Now this doesn't mean that San Diego is the most expensive place to live in the United States. San Francisco is still the most expensive, but based on salaries and income, San Diego is starting to catch up with San Francisco. With that said, they're taking into account that San Diego's salaries and incomes are lower, but we are also getting a lot of influx of people from the Bay Area that have higher salaries, but they're still working technically in San Francisco. So they might be working remotely from home, or some people are actually relocating to San Diego. So I'm thinking the salaries will probably start to increase a little bit, and that might catch up with it. Granted, this is not going to help people that have lived in San Diego for a very long time. You know, teachers, firemen, and you know, people with regular jobs, not these big tech companies. I don't think their salaries are going to go up as much, so this could be a problem for people living here. People moving from the Bay Area don't seem to have a problem with it because they keep bringing money down here to San Diego. But I do worry about people that, you know, lived here for a long time, because one of the big reasons why we moved to San Diego was because it was more affordable. We could buy a house down here for $800,000 a few years ago, and in a great neighborhood with great school districts. That same house now could be double that price.
Oh, that sounds expensive.
Well, yeah.
So if this was, you know, 5-6 years ago, we couldn't buy the house that we were living in now. So this is also a big reason why the bidding wars are so huge here in San Diego, is because a lot of people that moved here, you know, have been here for more than 5 years, bought at a very reasonable time here in San Diego, and now they could sell their house and buy another house, but they probably can't afford that next house, even though they'd have a huge down payment to do it. They got to still worry about their monthly payments, where their salaries have not gone up as much as the housing prices have gone. So I think that's a big reason why the supply is so low here too, is because I've talked to a lot of friends and family in this area, and they like, yeah, well, I could sell my house and make a lot of money, but then I gotta go buy something else somewhere else in San Diego. And they don't want to leave San Diego because, you know, we have beautiful weather, we have great schools here, especially in the area that we live in. So I think a lot of people are holding back from selling their house and just staying longer. They say people staying at home for like 7 to 10 years. In San Diego, it's apparently much longer than that. And I think it's become even longer now that housing prices have gone up this much. So, I mean, yes, we could do that too. We could sell our house, but then, you know, you're going to buy a much more expensive house. Your property taxes are going to be much higher on the next one. So as long as you can make your house work, I think you're going to see that people staying a lot longer in their houses going forward. But we'll see what happens. I also wanted to compare, you know, utility costs between San Francisco and San Diego, because I think there are big differences in certain categories that I don't think people take into account, especially this affordability scale thing that OJO Labs puts out. They're not really putting into account like what it costs to have childcare, utilities, that sort of thing. They're just looking at incomes and salaries and then home prices. With that said, I'm going to give a couple examples of things you have to take into account while you're living in San Francisco or San Diego. First one is gas and electric. My average utility bill here between gas and electric is about $220 per month, $230 per month, depending on the month. I do have solar, so I actually don't really have electric bill, but if I did not have solar, you would have a much higher electric bill. Here, the average here, they say, is $95 to $130 per month, which I don't know anybody that has that unless you live in like a condo, which maybe they're counting that in that list. But usually I would say most people's electric gas bill is between $200 to $300 per month. In San Francisco, the average gas and electric bill is $183 per month. And I've also talked to some of my clients that moved down here from San Francisco recently, and they say their bill usually range from $300 to $500 per month for gas and electric.
Well, that's a lot of my money.
I don't know what these averages that both these places are giving, They are much higher than that, but that's why a lot of people get solar here in San Diego and maybe in San Francisco too, because you can save a lot of money by getting some solar panels on your house. Okay, next on our list is average water bills. So they say the average water bill here in San Diego is $80 per month. Mine personally is about $120 per month. We're a family of 4. My kids love taking baths. I don't know, I guess our bill is just a little bit higher than most people's. We still have to water the lawns and all that sort of thing. So
honey, don't hog all the hot water, okay?
in San Francisco, the average water bill is $137 per month. So again, a little bit higher, not dramatically higher, according to these averages at least. So keep that in mind. Another thing that people don't really talk about is childcare here. Me and my wife both work, so we do need childcare here. When my daughter was in daycare, prices range from about $1,100 per month to about $2,000 a month, depending on what kind of daycare you did. There's in-home daycares that are a little more affordable, or there's a little more traditional daycares that range probably from $1,500 to $2,000 or so. In Bay Area, I hear most daycares start around $2,000 and kind of go up to about $3,000 a month.
Don't have kids.
So it is considerably cheaper here for childcare. And then even like the after-school programs here in San Diego are much more affordable. My kids' after-school program is only $300 per month, so they get out of school at 3 o'clock. They get to go to their after-school program till as late as 6 o'clock if you needed it, and that's only $300 a month, which is super affordable. Up in Carlsbad, I believe it's between $400 to $600 per month for after-school programs, so it's really not that bad. Up in San Francisco, I hear after-school programs start about $1,000 per child. So it can definitely get a lot more expensive up in the Bay Area for childcare. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to compare what one's going to be more expensive than others. Because I've actually had a few clients planning on moving to San Diego, and now they're second guessing if they should make the move because prices have gone up here so much. You know, 2 years ago, there was a huge gap between San Diego and San Francisco. So we actually did a cost of living video probably about 2 years ago. You can see it up here if you want to check that one out. The gap has definitely shrunk a little bit, but I still think it is much more affordable. Not much more, but definitely less expensive to live in San Diego than it is in San Francisco, at least as of this moment. Maybe I'll have to make another one of these videos a year from now and it's not going to be that way, but as of right now, it still is more affordable. Oh, and another thing people love to talk about, gas prices these days.
And this is what the gas prices will be.
Gas prices are ridiculous throughout the country, but in California in general, it always seems to be the most expensive place in the United States. And this year is definitely no different. I think the average price here in San Diego for gas prices is $5.30 right now. Seems to be going up 10 cents per day in the last week or two. In San Francisco, it's about $5.42. Generally, they're about the same price. You probably need a car more here in San Diego than you do in San Francisco, so maybe it does end up being a little bit cheaper in San Francisco as far as transportation goes. But, you know, with electric cars and that sort of thing, there are other options to keep those prices down, but just keep that in mind when you're thinking about moving to San Diego. Now, with that said, as you can see, that San Diego is definitely an expensive place to live. San Francisco, the same thing. But there are reasons why people move to San Diego, and it's not just about the money. It's just a beautiful place to live. We got sunshine all year round. San Diego was rated the most fun city to live in the United States, according to U.S. News and World Report. We actually did a video about that, about the most fun things to do in San Diego. You can check that one up here. Also, Mind and Body put out a report about the healthiest cities in the United States. This doesn't just mean health-wise, but like happiness level, stress level, that sort of thing. San Diego ranked number 3 on that list, just behind Los Angeles. Health and fitness is a big thing here in San Diego. People try to eat right. Mostly. The sunshine helps. They always call it the sunshine tax here in San Diego, and we definitely pay that, but it is worth it to some people. Obviously, not everyone's going to agree with me on this one, which is fine. I love living here in San Diego. My family loves living here in San Diego. We have some great friends, great family around. So we think it's worth it. Obviously, it might not be to everyone. So I think that's something you got to make up your mind for yourself. So that's it. San Diego is ranked the most unaffordable city in the United States. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If this is your first time to our channel, please subscribe to our channel, and as we post new videos every week. And if you're ever looking to move to San Diego, I'd love to help you find your next home. Thanks for watching. Catch us next time. Bye!